Halloween, Victoria, BC. The first part of this story is a product of collective family memories. Some of my youth memories are borrowed, as they were recalled many times during family conversations, and that's what helps me to remember them. I'm not sure how old I was, but I think it was my second or third time trick-or-treating under self-propulsion. We were living in Victoria, and I enjoyed every minute of it, including the candy, fireworks, costumes, and the house and yard decorations. The smell of fireworks, smoke lingering in the air, and the composting leaves cue the memories. We had gone out trick-or-treating and amassed what Dad considered to be a big enough haul, so we strolled home. Everyone was dumping their goodies onto the floor to see what was there. I got upset because there were apples in my booty, and all I had to do was go out in the yard and pick one up. My mom told me when she lived in Winnipeg, apples were cherished because they were rare as hen's teeth and twice the cost. So I said to Mom, "Mom, you can have my apples." I'm unsure why I did it, but I grabbed my pillowcase and headed out by myself for round 2 of goodies for me and apples for Mum. After walking a few blocks and amassing more plunder, I happened upon a yard where they were beginning to set off fireworks. And what are the odds of a little boy just walking past? I stopped and took in the raucous din and the light show. Sometime later, I saw my father frantically coming in my direction. When he saw me, he quickly became a relieved father. Of course, I wanted to stay and watch the fireworks, but Dad had other plans. We wasted no time getting home to a house of family members happy to see me. Maybe they were just pleased to see me because, as instructed by Dad, I had to share my loot with them. The following year, my sister Jocelyn was sick, and I had to carry an extra pillowcase. Maybe this was a punishment for the previous Halloween. Every time it was my turn to receive the treats, I would say, "Please, this one is for my sick sister." We would arrive home. The bag of goodies would be given to Jocelyn, and indeed, that was a lesson learned that I never forgot. A few years later, when I was going trick-or-treating with friends without my family, I had an extra bag with me, and I rewound the tape to that familiar refrain. "Please, this one's for my sick sister." Salt Spring Island. When we first moved to Salt Spring Island, Malaview Drive did not exist, and Brinkworthy Estates was a dairy farm. These two places are now gold mines for the wee ones. At least they were when we took the kids out trick-or-treating. My connection to Malaview Drive were, when the subdivision was born, a few friends and I picked rocks on the road because they were too cheap to get the suitable gravel. I was happy that they were a bit thick in the head because they made my wallet a bit thicker. I also helped build a few homes during my teen years. When we moved from Scotland to Salt Spring Island, we rented a house on Malaview. When we lived on Walkersuck Road, it was trick-or-treating in running shoes. If we circled the wagons by visiting the 10 closest neighbors, the distance would be well over a mile. So our enthusiasm would rapidly dissipate. We might soap the odd window or throw a rotten egg to spice things up. After Walkersuck Road, we moved to a house on the corner of where Charlesworth and Lower Ganges Road meet. We referred to it as living on Ganges Hill, or simply the hill, because of the steep incline all the way to Ganges. The Kandy here was densely populated, which means more bang for your walk. We eventually smartened up by staying to one side of the road going down the hill and changed to the other side for the return. One might ask why, and the reason is that when we alternated sides, we would fuel up on the uphill journey home, taking more time to eat our way back and return with a significant deficit in the Kandy department. Again, we moved, this time to Rainbow Road, across from Mir Kami's. We were also almost in the metropolis of Ganges. According to the Salt Spring Island Kandy scale, we had been launched into rarefied air. But this was short-lived when, at the lofty age of 12, I ceased asking for treats, although I still liked them. I may have misled my parents into believing that I was still a trick-or-treater, but I doubt it, because year after year, I wore the same costume, runners, jeans, t-shirt, and jacket. I was now dabbling in the realm of the other half of the equation, tricks. It's like going from candy to liquor. Candy's dandy, but liquor's quicker. As a Halloween teen, I was down with tricks. We loved playing with fireworks. Who didn't? We had to earn money to finance our habits. How we avoided serious injury is beyond my comprehension. It wasn't due to good management on our part. Maybe we had an army of guardian angels on our side. Ladyfingers were great for knocking on a door and tossing them onto the stoop when someone answered, or throwing them behind someone walking away from you. The atom bombs were lethal, because they could blow things up. The sound they made was incredibly loud, to the point that the oblivious may lose bodily fluids. The store-bought fireworks back in the day were nowhere near as sophisticated as they are today, but they packed a bigger punch, and you got more of a bang for your buck. Our favorites were the 6-banger Roman candles, because they had a thick cardboard outer casing. We could hold and light them and aim towards a target and continue on until the last projectile was launched. We were buoyed with courage by the fact that none of us had seen one blow up. Centennial Park was the usual venue, and it was a post-dusk event. The projectiles were easier to see in the dark, and it gave us confidence that we were adhering to our high regard for safety. We would divide ourselves into 2 teams, and when a mutually agreed distance had been reached, all would yell, "Fire!" and it was game on. The park is quite open, but did have some objects to hide behind, like a cenotaph, water fountain, picnic tables, garbage cans, and washrooms. We usually had a minimum of 2 6-shooters each. It was fun to have one 6-shooter in each hand and fire away like they do in the westerns. Once we were tired of shooting at each other, some inanimate objects were unsuspectingly victimized. One of the most dangerous things to do was to light 2 up in one hand and throw them as hard as you could straight up in the air. I was good at throwing, so I may have been nominated by my peers on more than one occasion to be the official torchbearer. Just think about it. 2 6-shooters hurtling and spinning through the air as the fiery balls were launched in all directions, some straight down. The only casualties of war were bruised egos, singed clothes, and PTSD. I'm a wee bit embarrassed to say that we did dabble in cocktail mixology and homemade fireworks at a young age, or so we thought. A cocktail was concocted quickly enough and was indeed an integral component to the final product. 3 more ingredients and you're off to the races. 1 rag, 1 glass wine bottle, preferably red, and one ignition device. Some of you have already sussed it out, and if your guess was poison in a bottle, you would be mostly wrong, but also somewhat right. If you chose Vladislav Mikhailovich Molotov's Soviet cocktail, you would be correct, as its common name is Molotov cocktail. We simultaneously competed with the local fireworks at Centennial Park by throwing a few cocktails from the cliffs below the high school. We then quickly dispersed to meet up at the park, where we disposed of some rotten eggs by throwing them up in the air and knew exactly where they landed by the remarks. "What was that? Ew, smells like rotten eggs. Where did that come from? If I ever catch you did this, look out." Some of these comments may have come from us. You had to blend in. Our ammo was lovingly gathered and stockpiled from August to October. Some of the older kids with cars would mix up some magoo to distribute to the Ganges merchants. Supposing that my faulty memory serves me well, magoo is a mixture of Robin Hood, enriched white flour, clear toilet bowl water, or not, Scotty's ultra soft 3-ply toilet paper, and a liberal dash of salt and pepper. If you are in a real bind, you can go ahead and substitute the toilet paper and flour with other products, similar products. Mix and mash in 5-gallon buckets and hurled from the back of a pickup. When it dries, it's difficult to clean up. You may surmise that I am a devoted fan of Halloween, but you would be sorely mistaken. The last Halloween that I participated in, other than driving the kids around, was about 45 years ago, give or take 45 years. Why do adults dress up as superheroes and then add insult to injury by trick-or-treating to steal the children's candies? Sadly, Halloween is the largest grossing holiday on the Gregorian calendar. Gladly, it doesn't even exist in the lunar calendar. For the enthusiasts, this Halloween is doubly special. Not only is it a full moon, but it is also a second full moon, known as a blue moon. A blue moon only falls on Halloween once every 19 years. In the 20th century, there were only 3 Halloweens with a blue moon. In the 21st century, where we presently exist, there will be a total of 6 Halloweens in the Pacific time zone that will be graced with a blue moon. Between 1944 and 2001, for a total of 57 years, there were no blue moons on Halloween. I conclude with one big boo-hoo. Oh no, looming on their horizon is bah humbug. Peace out.